Hey folks, thanks for stopping by and checking out the Business Line podcast. In this show, what we're trying to do is get in front of people all over the country, all over the world that are moving and shaking in business, whether they're a part of a big business or they're starting something from the ground up. We want to get to know them. We want to get to know their journey, their struggle, and a little bit about what they love in life. We hope you check out every episode you can. Ami, welcome to the Business Line podcast. Thank you so much for joining. When I heard you were coming on and had my conversation with producer Matt, I got really excited. I'm a parent of 4 children, been married for over 20 years now, and just really excited to hear about what you guys have created and had on the market for a little while, and just kind of learn how it's going, how it's selling, how it's helping people, and what are some of the challenges.
Well, first of all, thank you for hosting me, Brian. At Little One That Care, 4 years ago, I still remember that conversation in that coffee shop when we talked about, okay, the AI is going to be tremendous. It was actually more than 4 years ago. We knew that the AI is going to change the world, but part of the technologies will not exist yet. We assumed they're going to be there. It was kind of a gamble. We already knew that we want to do something in this area. At the very same time, we investigated the baby monitoring market, and we found out that is actually, it's not exactly baby monitoring, and I'm not politically correct right now, but it's about the fear of the parents. It's about the night sleep of the baby, to make sure that you wake up in the morning and you have done the best to make sure that your baby is alive. It's like 0 and 1 product, alive, not alive. And the parents actually kept using that product. During the period of time, they were not secured. They didn't feel confidence with themselves. But the moment these parents understood that this baby will kill them before something will happen with them, so they stopped using it. And we thought of what can be done in order to do the very same thing, but at the very same time, to use the very same data and to collect something more interesting, not to monitor just the baby, to monitor your habits as a parent, because the first 24 months of baby's life are crucial for the mental strength, the physical health of yourself as adult, your intelligence, ability to compromise, ability to communicate with people. Success in life has a very big connection to what you went through in the first 2 years of life. So we wanted to create a tool that will be relying on AI and simple data we collect, and to enable parents to understand more than just what had happened with my baby during the night sleep. So this is what the beginning. We draw some ideas, but instead, and we actually went to investors and raised some money. But the very first thing that we have done is not to write code and start working on the product. It was to create a community of parents and start to discuss with them what are the real needs. We were trying to understand what is the value they are looking for in the product, and we didn't just listen to them. We were listening even in between the line to what they want to say without saying it. For instance, they really keen about baby diary, but it's annoying to type everything you do in the applications, right? Or you have a lot of fights with your spouse that when he or she forgot to type that he fed the baby at 2 a.m. Who can remember that? So we actually organized all of this stuff, and we created the very first version of the product. And we had actually kind of 4 versions of the product. And in each version, we looked for communities of parents to use the product. And again, with the very same feedback, agile process, we developed the second version and the third version. And in the 4th one, we launched the product in the US market on March 24. We launched the
March of last year. Yeah, I saw that, looking up some history. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. 4+ years ago, you guys come together, coffee shop, kind of an idea is birthed around this. How many people were sitting in that coffee shop? How many people were kind of throwing this around?
3 people, but 2 people with 2 geniuses from the AI market and myself. I'm not a genius.
Yeah, so, well, we're all geniuses in some weird way, right? But so you have a couple AI people, and this is 4+ years ago.
2 AI and hardware people, because it's not just AI. In our case, you have to squeeze all of this AI into a tiny product with the very limited energy resources. You need to be very smart with using these resources. And myself, I came from marketing and business development, but most of my life I was involved with the babies. I established elementary school. I was
Oh,
involved in bringing Barney the dinosaur to my country.
oh, really?
Yeah, I immigrated Dora the Explorer, Ninja Turtles. So I know so many things about the gap between what parents say they want to do with their kids, with their babies, and what really happens.
Yeah,
And in this gap, I'm not blaming anyone because life are very tough. For instance, people will buy the book, might not read it. People
right.
will, but it's like,
You have every intention to, but
yeah, it's like to purchase to pay for the gym, but not to use the not go to or diet or anything. So the three of us established the company together, and we start working on the product with the parents. This is the way we started.
okay. So I can't just let that slide real quick. So you were part of bringing Barney the dinosaur to your
Yeah,
country. Okay. So first of all, what's your home country?
Israel. In our country, we unlike many other countries that you bring it in and you use subtitle and you use voiceover, we immigrated everything. We actually reproduced everything from the beginning
Oh,
in
you
Hebrew.
reproduced the whole show.
Yeah, yeah. It in this project. This project was a failure. Unlike in the US, it was an amazing success. It was we
Interesting.
didn't, let's say, you saw the potential, but the world of babies and kids. It's very very tricky. You don't really know in advance what will work and what will.
Yeah,
The babies and toddlers are evil. They will straight in your face. They will tell
absolutely.
you they dislike it, so they dislike it,
Yep.
or sometimes you don't understand why they do like stuff.
That is fascinating. That could be a whole nother topic.
Barney was a unique product. In each episode, you could learn something new, how to behave, new words. It was very interesting, and it was an investment that you understand why if you're going to do that, you're going to do that in the best way. It was not a successful project, but we do not blame anyone
Yeah.
because we knew that what was the risk. Other products like the Ninja Turtles was an amazing project, but it's easy to say it now, but think about the decision making when you need to buy a brand and you ask, what is that brand? Oh, it's turtles, green turtles. That one of them like this and the other one have a what? Turtles that fight with each other? Give me a break. Oh my God, it was one of the best.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell in advance what's going to happen.
In the 80s, when that particular cartoon came out, I was a child. So I was a big fan of Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I was born in 80. So from 80 to,
Yeah, yeah, I
90,
know that.
like
Yeah.
that whole area happened in between there. So did you again adapt it for the Israel market completely, or was it just kind of a relocalization?
We adapted it. We converted everything to Hebrew and with
Mm,
the whole merchandising and the whole stuff. And it's easy to explain success backward because you can say that the Ninja Turtles is an expression of the weak children in the class or in the daycare that do not know others, but they would like to fight back, like the turtles who presents themselves like a very slow and clumsy animal, but at the end of the day, they are very agile and they are supporting each other. Easy to explain it backwards.
yeah.
Very hard to understand it and to predict the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
That's so
very
cool.
interesting experience. Yeah.
Very cool. So we fast forward, we're talking about AI monitoring. It's almost like parent and infant lifestyle monitoring, right? It's like health and wellness and lifestyle monitoring.
Well, I will share with you what we say to the parents. What is the marketing pitch? The marketing pitch, or sorry, the parents' needs. The parents' needs is, oh my God, I would like to know what's going on with my baby. Brackets. Sorry to tell you, but your baby is about to do only four things. Is about to cry, sleep, eat, and poo.
Yep.
So what do you really want to know about your baby?
Yep.
So what do we do is to tell parents, fine, we will tell you that, even more. But the more include what is going on between you and your baby. I will explain. In our Elora, we have several sensors that will track the sound and the motion And together with AI and the synchronization of these events, we can tell when the baby was asleep, rolling, tummy time, sleeping, crying, and many other events. But at the end of the day, when you look at the daily activity, it tells another story, because the baby doesn't decide when you are going to talk to him. The baby
Mm-hmm.
doesn't decide when you are going to change their diapers or read them a book or play with them on the carpet in the living room. It's about your decision making with the baby. So we have a responsibility. One, to reflect you what is going on with the baby. When I say reflect you, you will see a report at the end of the day how many words your baby was exposed to that day,
I
comparison
see.
to last week. And talking to your baby is one of the most important foundation of well-being of a baby,
Mm.
and so on. Um, so this is to reflect you. How active was your baby today? Because it's so easy to keep your baby in the crib, give them to play with an iPad or iPhone while you're watching Netflix or talking over Zoom because you have a very important meeting. They are not crying. No, nobody really. Let's say I would prefer that they will be quiet right now, but they
Yeah.
didn't move. And the World Health Organization keeps saying, play with your kids. We have more and more overweight kids in the elementary schools because we do not play enough with them. In the past,
Mm.
they used to be all over the place. A baby needs to be active when they awake. So we
Mm-hmm.
will tell you how active was your baby, what is the pollution around your baby, and it's about your decision making. And our responsibility is to present this data without judging you. Why?
Yeah. Because people feel judged, right? I think that's where
No,
I was
no.
going. Is
The
like,
whole idea is not to judge you. So how do we do
yeah.
that? So the idea is, first of all, to understand that parenting is one of the most important profession that you don't need a license to become a parent. So there is no good or bad parenting because it's about the values, it's about how much spare time, about your personality, about your baby's personality, level of income, and so on. So you cannot tell parents what is good and what is bad.
Mm.
So we positioned ourselves like the weight in the gym. We will tell you what had happened. We won't tell you what is good and bad. We found another solution that we'll talk about that later. But the
Mm.
very first thing responsibility is to provide you the information with the simple to understand call to action reports. For instance, the baby heard this day, that day, this number of words. Like it's like any smartwatch that will tell you you walked today 8,000 steps. What you're going to do about that? Well, it's your decision to make. This is what we have done with how many words your baby heard, how active was your baby, did you sing to your baby, and so on. Um, and the other thing, the moment you would like to investigate this data, we would like to help you with answers because many people question the data. So within the app, we created a very massive feature that enable you to communicate directly with baby experts from different disciplines. Baby sleep therapist, baby care specialist, a speech therapist, occupation therapist, breastfeeding expert, and so on and so on. And you can communicate with them directly through the app over the real data of your baby. No stories, no explanations, facts. This is what had
Mm.
happened. And in many occasions, these experts will tell you it's about the manners and the habits of the parents. Because the babies, let's go back to the beginning, will do only four things: will cry, will eat, will poo, and sleep. That's it.
Yeah. So you've had this out in the market going on a year now, right? In the US market.
Yep.
What are you guys seeing as far as parents' activity? Are they sticking with it? Are they like kind of they're getting it, they're really using it, and all of a sudden it gets put in a drawer? Or like a lot of the things we do and we get and we're excited about, we get fired up, we get involved, we like it, and then let's say, we forget to charge it one day or something, and then we forget to charge it another day, and now we can't find it, right? What are you seeing as far as usage and stickiness for the
I
consumer?
would say I would like to be honest with you. No surprises. Let's talk about the whole type of parents. There is
Yeah.
a big group of parents that would say, no baby monitoring. It's not. I was raised with no monitoring. I don't want to raise my baby with cameras or whatever. Well, you have to respect them. And my answer to them, if please keep kissing, hugging, loving, talking, and smiling to a baby. This is the most important thing to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't no AI. You want no AI, and there is no AI that will replace that. The people who purchase Elora, and there are it's actually many other devices that will provide that provides you data. You can split them to two populations. One that will buy and might use that for time to time, or will use it at the beginning. But there is another group that is growing and becoming, I think, more and more interesting. And I think the AI is going to develop that population. In the past, data were, as a humankind, data was something that we didn't know how to collect. I'm talking in the past, let's say 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago. We didn't collect data. We were relying on stories and legends. And later on, because to collect data, it's to handwriting the right data and to copy them from one book to another book. Later on, we found better ways like printing to collect data, and the knowledge, it's impact the knowledge immediately, but it was still expensive. And we are about, I think, if you look at the future, data, to collect data and to analyze data and to predict what is going to happen due to a smart algorithms that work with the right data, I think is going to distinguish a group of people that is going to take advantage and understand how to use, and in that case, is it the AI for their benefits. Because the moment the data collection becomes so cheap and storing of it become obvious, now over the very same data, you can create and develop smarter and more smarter algorithms. So you have the data now. The only thing you need to do is to create something that will tell you another story about over the very same data. And if you are doing it and you're part of this group, and it's a growing group, because the humankind, this revolution, people, from my perspective, people say, oh yeah, the AI is going to be the next revolution. I don't see it as a revolution, because all the information revolution, the industrial revolution was about working and replacing our muscles. We have another story here. It's about replacement of our need of thinking. It's like it's competition to the average person brain.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to be this. If you want to be, I think, if you want to be part of this smart group, is start to collect the data that enables you to start prevent and predict things that other people, whatever they're going to have, any AI they're going to have, any smart computer and processor they're going to have, but without the data, they won't be on that train. So there are a growing group of people that understand how important it is, and they you can see that they produce joy from working with it. And the very first thing that happens, it's the impact that you can see on their habits and behavior, because the baby will do what baby does. That's it. But as the parents, you talk more, you play more. It's about attention, and you want to do the best for your baby in the first 24 months. It's very important and crucial period of time. And changing your habits, it's very important. I keep saying that many people, especially first-time parents, you already have 4 kids, but try to remember the first time you have become a father. Even now, after 4 kids, you're still a kid of your parents. Means that you are not just a father. You bring in to the relationship with your spouse and your kids anything you remember from your childhood, the things you missed, the things you didn't went through, experiences you wanted you didn't have, money you didn't have. So in many occasions, people bring into the relationship with this young child what they missed and didn't have, and it's open a lot of issues. And we would like to say, guys, please split it. What you had with your parents, keep it aside. Walk with your baby over the reality, the simple facts. And the simple fact is to be with them. Oh, you feel guilt, feeling you were not enough because you work hard like your father. Sorry, your father didn't have the data. Now you have the data. Work with it in order to do better in the weekend. No excuses. This is what we're trying to do, to simplify the process, reduce the guilt feeling and the anxiety feeling. Because when you talk of the facts, most of the issues needs to address reality. Now, it brings me to another thing, the other population. Some people don't want to face reality. I will buy the weight. I will not use it because I know that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do with my
Or I'll
nutrition.
be using it and then it'll just fall off. The excitement
Yeah,
goes down a little bit. Maybe I just forget, or the normal excuses, right?
yeah,
Not saying it's great, but that's typically what happens with tech, right?
yeah, yeah.
Unless it's ingrained, like a computer or a phone. Like now, you can't get people away from their phones.
Exactly. If you
You know,
remember the initial, in the beginning when we have cell phones, many people say, "I will never have a cell phone. Nobody will look for me after working hours."
I said I hated the idea of having a cell phone.
Yeah, and couple of years later, every second kid even have a cell phone. So we are in a process of understanding that we have to embrace data, because in many occasions they will spare our life and will predict stuff and prevent things due to the deep understanding of what this data contain. And nowadays it's cheaper and much more simple to collect them. We are running a medical trial, although we are not a medical device. Our device doesn't collect any vitals. We are not a medical product.
yeah,
However, there are professors in the area of baby development that understood that this way of collecting data might help them to understand the impact of the environment on a baby development. And they want to use this simple and very honest and irrelevant data to try to create patterns that might predict stuff that you will find in the traditional ways several years later.
yeah. So when it comes to the data, like data is garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, whether it's something that's heard, said, or input or whatever, we're collecting and we're aggregating data and leveraging machine learned algorithmic kind of models, today's AI kind of stuff, to mine and or make judgments on that data based on, let's say, other experiential data that's already out there, right? Let's say I'm wearing it or my child's wearing it and we're having a fun interaction, and again, I'm kind of making up a scenario, but I'm very much of the belief that you got to roughhouse with your kids as they're growing up and they're young. In fact, I mean, I've got a 13-year-old all the way down to a 4-year-old, and we wrestle. I
Good.
can't toss my 13-year-old around like I
Good.
used to. He's a full-size human man now,
Good.
but I'll still push him around a little bit to keep him on
Good.
edge. Just like a father and son should.
Yeah.
And so, how do you address concerns that people have of, let's say, misinterpretation of data or leveraging data to put on a popular, let's say if AI is grabbing the latest and greatest research on, how to interact with your kids, and that is using something like, let's say, roughhousing in a negative light instead of a positive light with someone else. Like there's science and then there's opinion, and they're like, me roughhousing could have a really good result and someone else roughhousing could have a really bad result. You know what I mean? But how do you guys address the ambiguity in analyzing data and giving feedback on what people are, let's say, doing with their children?
First of all, it's a very good question, because you said a very important key sentence: garbage in, garbage out. In the AI, without tagged data, well, it's very complicated to provide or to produce any insight, because you need tagged data. You need some to start with something. So what would you do? What would you do? Will you say? Will you use data saying like this? You can ask mom. You can ask mom to send you data file of her baby crying, but you need different type of cry. Like punch your baby and send me the cry because I would like to. No, you cannot do.
You
Oh,
can't do that,
listen.
right?
Starve your baby for a couple of hours and let me understand what is this cry mean. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing, we do love our kids. And in many occasions, even when problem happens, the parents do not see them. We rape reality. We rape the reality because we don't want to see problems, issues, because we ideal everything. Our spouse when we are young, and our kids the moment we have them. So it's more
Yeah.
complicated to collect the data. So what we have done, first of all, is to find a way to tag the data and to rely on the parents less and less, because they do not interact, they do not they're and I'm not saying they are not honest and then and they are not, and they do not know how to tag the data, but you cannot trust them because they are not objective. No, none of us will be objective with the kids. So
Of
what
course
we
we're
have done,
biased with our families
yes,
and our kids, and
this is, I think, the term love is it's part of the explanation of this term. To love your kids is the bias, otherwise you can, they're strangers. So
yeah.
what we have done, we put a lot of thinking in that, because it was the key we knew that we have to go through that, and we have to, because many other applications and companies were trying to do different kind of things, and the accuracy was not so good. So we decided to do two things. One was to synchronize between motion and sounds. I will explain. To understand that the baby is crying, I'm not saying it's easy, but you can understand and to distinguish between crying of a baby to adults talking, right?
Mm.
Or adults singing or music. But to connect that and to understand the connection between that cry to the very same baby bellies goes up and down, means it breathing quiet around the baby for 2 hours, so you can assume that that baby fall asleep. And to connect between the two, it's enabled us to tag the last cry we have heard, to assume that the baby fall asleep, and this cry was a presentation of tiredness.
Mm.
And if you fed the baby and then he stopped crying, we can assume, or we can see that that type of crying can be connected to I'm starving, feed me, or change my diaper, in order to understand what is pain. Because in many occasions you wake up at night and the parents behave like a neural network, but sleepy neural network.
Hmm.
Okay, the baby is crying. Let's feed the baby. Doesn't work. Breastfeeding doesn't work. Rock the baby doesn't work. Change the diaper. And the baby, from this aspect, I'm in pain. Why are you taking off my pants? What are you doing with me? I'm in pain. But you cannot know that till you try anything you used to do. So
Hmm.
we're trying to map all of these things and many other activities due to the connection between the two. This is one thing we've done. So it's created automatic system that collects data and targets while collecting it. This is one thing we've
Hmm.
done. The other thing we said, do you remember I told you that people are very pissed off with the with the baby diary that you need to type
Oh
in, and
yeah, it seems like such a great idea, but nobody has the
at
time.
the moment you miss half of the data, it's like you don't have any data. So we enable parents, because we have the touch sensor on the LoRa,
Mm.
and the moment you touch the logo, the logo changes its color to a very gentle blue color. It enables you to record something, and you talk to your baby saying, Jonathan, let's change your diaper. Oh, it was dry. Or let's have something to eat, and then we go to nap. Anything you say using speech to text to speech to text features
Mm.
takes it as an event to the app. So you can change your diaper, you just tap the Elora, explain your baby what you have done, which train you to talk to your baby. We're
Mm.
earning two things here. You, as a parents, gain that it's already going to be presented in the application that you change the diaper, and your wife will never won't tell you off that you forget to type it in the application. But we gain
Mm.
another thing. We gain tagging process of the you tagged for us an event, and it tells us how the sounds and the activity and the accelerations of the diaper change, feeding, playing, you are actually helping us while playing with your baby and doing what you do, to tag the data. It was a very important process to understand how can we make our technology more and more accurate, because you have to have more and more accurate data, since, as you said, if you won't do so, garbage or not quality data, not using quality data is important. So the users help us to have quality data, to have better results and better and to improve the accuracy of what we do. This is the way we solve it.
Interesting. What kind of accuracy numbers do you see on the speech to text with the device?
Oh, this is easy. The accuracy of the speech to text is very good because we have done in the beginning. We said, oh, all we need is one word, diaper, feeding, but
Mm,
we changed it into saying sentences. Why? First of all, talk to your baby. I don't want you to. It's not a technical thing, and we have done it with physicians and baby experts and the parents themselves. They would prefer to talk to the. We even say sentence. Oh, grandma just show up. Share everything with your baby. You need to describe your baby the world. It's good
sure.
training for you. But the
I mean,
moment
I
you
think that's pretty natural what we do as
yes,
parents, right?
yes, yes, but more than that, the moment you have a long sentence that you speak, so the accuracy of the speech to text, you
Mm-hmm.
improve it because the context makes the speech to text to understand what you just said. Okay, so the accuracy of the speech to text is good. The other things we need to improve are different, and we didn't release yet. Is the reason of the for the crying? Like if your baby is crying because of tiredness or because tiredness is very important because we have four colors that we work with. Tiredness is blue, like put your baby to sleep. So the Elora changes its color the moment the baby is crying because of tiredness to blue. Put your baby to sleep, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare if you won't do that immediately. Feed your baby is green, change diaper is yellow, and pain is red. But we didn't release it yet because we do not want to release such features if we don't have 95% accuracy. Like to be accurate 19 times of 20 times, I think people will be forgiveness to be accurate 19 of 20 times. Like you won't pay attention if you missed one time any
Right.
20
Like
events.
if it's yellow and it's saying, okay, I need to check a diaper, and I check the diaper 5 out of 10 times today when it's yellow, it's wrong half the time. Eventually I'm crying wolf. I'm like, okay, you're not right all
Yeah.
the time. Right.
Yeah, so that's why you need to be accurate 19 times of 20, and in that and I think people will trust you more and more. We are not going to do that because we want to replace your instincts. It's important that you will develop your confidence,
Mm,
but we would like to reduce the time you understand that your baby is in pain. This is the reason we're doing it. A baby in pain, in many occasions, unexperienced caregivers might assume, oh, he's hungry, oh, she is just wet, let's change the diaper, something, scratch her back, rock the baby. And pain, it's something that whatever you're going to do won't be useful. The baby is in pain. So we would
yeah.
like to do everything we do in order to distinguish that thing. It's like and it takes a while, but we are on our way to that. And the hardware is the very same hardware. Everything is prepared. All we need to do is to improve more and more the algorithms we work with and to make them more and more light to be able to work on a very tiny product with very low energies. Uh, this is part of our challenges.
Yeah, one of the first things I saw when I saw the product preparing for our meeting here, Ami, was the size of it. And I'm like, oh, small's great, inconspicuous. But then I'm looking kind of some of the marketing pictures you guys have put on your site and things. And at first I was like, okay, is it a whole outfit? No, it's not a whole outfit. It's designed to go on a piece of clothing, and then there's a part that clicks on the back. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at the size. I'm like, that looks snack size to an infant. How did you guys come up with the design, and how reliable is the design when it comes to under a year? Kids they don't have very good dexterity. They struggle. I can't see them. But I tell you what, depending on certain kids, they get pretty crafty getting close to 2 years. How'd you guys come up with your design? And, be honest with me, tell me how reliable it is when it comes to, there is no stinking way
Yeah.
an infant 2 years and under is going to get this sucker off.
So as I said, when I told you when we started, it was two engineers, one from the AI market and the other one AI and hardware, and the other one
Mm,
more mainly hardware. None of us was involved in producing, creating, manufacturing baby toys. However, all of us knew how complicated is this market. I will explain. Unlike the mature market, in the baby's world, there is no room for mistakes. Safety, privacy, materials you work with, sizes of products. There is no room for mistakes. So what we have done, we look for manufacturers that manufacture toys for babies, because I don't know if you know the regulation for toys.
Mm,
There are different type. There are toys for toddlers. Because you can see over boxes of toys, it says for babies over the age of 3. It's
absolutely.
very
Yep.
important. They write that because there are tiny pieces and stuff like that. So what we've done, we work with manufacturer of toys that understand and know the manufacture tons of toys and understand the regulation all over the world with it. Which means the size of it cannot be swallowed by baby. You can chew it because the material that it's made of, it's okay to chew, but you never ever can swallow it. There are regulation in that market. You cannot manufacture something the way you want it, the shape of it, the size of it, and it's very very nice to see how this. I'm sorry to say, but that kind of regulation were written by because of accident that happened in the past. Okay,
Yeah.
even the cord we provide, we added to that a label saying keep away from kids because baby can play with it as a rope, and so on and so on and so on. You need to think about all of the things, but if you work with experienced product managers, and we have a guy that 20 years he was working in that market, been there, done that, saw everything. It reduces the mistake you're about to do. I'm saying reduces because we um, only I have a statement that it's from a book. Only if you keep questioning and if you keep, I'm sorry, I don't want you to think that I'm paranoid, but you always need the paranoia around you, because if you won't pay attention, the thing that you didn't see will hit you. So we always keep this paranoid all over the place. For instance, privacy. I think privacy is one of the most sensitive things when it goes to babies, cameras and any other product.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know how many people read the GDPR or the California's privacy rules. When the moment you read them, not as a manufacturer or company that needs to follow them, try to read them as a customer and try to understand why they're important. And the moment you read them through the customer's point of view, as a company, you can do even much more than just I'm following these rules. I will
Yep.
explain. When we work in the beta trial or in the early adopter program, the lawyers didn't like it, but I added pictures to the privacy policy in terms of use. Why? Because I wanted them to read it, because it's very tiny words in low speech and
Nobody reads it. Yeah.
nobody read. And I wanted them to read that. It was important to see their reaction to it, because it's important to explain what data you collect, why you collect the data, and how you can delete all data in few steps from the homepage of the app, and so on and so on. And the moment you understand the logic behind it, you're not just following it, you use it for your as a strength in your business, right?
Right.
As this is the things that we needed to go through with the safety and privacy and the product shape and design. One of the things we were struggling, and we patented it, is the how to attach it to the baby shirts. We had so many ideas, but the babies are so smart. When they're 6 7 months old, they start to play around with their hands, and I don't know, they are so smart, they can take off so many things. And we
Yeah.
had to find a way that you need to use both hands, and a very strong hands, because it's attached with the ring from the inside, but the ring is like it's screwed to the Elora and rub the shirt. It's very hard to take it off. So it was an evolution with a lot of ideas all over the time, trial and errors, and feedback from the parents. Agile process with the parents, and every couple of weeks we tried another method.
Yeah. I think this is great. I think everything has pluses and minuses. And I think this idea and this product you guys have created has much more upside than downside. Anybody can take anything and really tear it up if they wanted to, and find, negative application and things like that. But I feel like just from talking to you now, I've got a sense of your guys' values and what you're really trying to accomplish here. Um, I really think this is something fantastic for the brand new parent.
Hmm.
And because I remember back when I was, I mean, I had my son when I was 31.
Hmm.
I felt like a mature, grown man
Hmm.
who had some wisdom and experienced some of the world. I didn't have all this gray hair yet,
Hmm.
but that came from the kids. But I felt uh, I was ready, right? And then it happens, wife is pregnant. We're going through the process of things, and she's reading book after book after book. And I'm just,
Hmm.
we got this. Don't worry. We got this. And then I have my son, and everything's new. Everything's a change,
Everything. Yeah.
every little, what just happened? What does that mean? What is it? And I'm pretty laid back by nature. My wife is the opposite, which is why we go so well together, because we kind of even that out. But it's this, man, back then, having some feedback, like you talked about, kind of the color coding system you guys are working on. It's not quite there yet, but it's coming. And some of the other things that could say, hey, did you try this? This is what we're getting from your baby. You might want to change their diaper. You might, because what happens in the moment, like we all know as parents, that first time around is, well, what's going on? What do I do? Unless you got, like, back in the good old days where you had
Yeah.
your mom or my wife's mom, they're
The whole
involved in,
village. The
right.
whole
You got
village.
the whole village helping,
Yeah.
like they hear the baby crying a little bit. They're not like my business partner, Manny's from India, fantastic friend of mine. He tells me about when he was raising his kids, his parents, his mom was involved,
Yeah.
and they would have their first baby, his son, and it get to the point where mom was standing outside the door. She could sense when it was getting just beyond their level of expertise as new parents. She'd knock on the
Yeah.
door and say, let me take it from here, or let me
Yeah.
show you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like, I don't think that happens very much. And I think especially young parents, I wasn't very prideful. I was there was nights and days when I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss.
You need the village to raise a baby. It was one of the sentences we had to we had a conversation with this sentence. Like, we
Yeah.
had a dialogue with this sentence, and we said, how do we take this sentence? We cannot ignore that. In the past, you had the village around you. In many occasions, young parents live elsewhere because of work, because of whatever, and
Mm.
find the spouse 2 hours flight from the parents. You need to manage by yourself. So what we have done, first of all, in the app, we encouraging the parents to invite any involved caregiver to be part of the app, because it's the very first baby monitor that see your baby 24/7. So it's more than okay that the caregiver at the daytime, because we went to work in the daycare or the nanny, will see what had happened last night. Maybe he
Mm.
didn't sleep well and it's going to be annoying today. So everybody should be aware of it, vice versa. But it's not enough. That's why we created in the app an ability to meet baby experts, and any baby experts can access the app, create an account, write their bios, and to create tips that we use and present the parents while they engage with the app. Because all we want is you to communicate with the right people, because this community, the way you talk, that you just mentioned, is not exist anymore, and we need to help you to create it around your baby. But your baby is in New York and your mom is in Dallas. Now what we're going to do? So we need
Yeah.
to have somewhere that everybody can see the very same data, and your baby expert that you used to work with, whatever she is at, if you talk to her over Zoom, but they can see in the app what is going on with the baby. This is the way we were trying to solve this issue, because it's a real issue. The other thing we want to do, but it will take time to do it. The moment we'll have more and more and more Eloras in the market, we would like to activate some games, kind of gamifications. I will explain. Parents ask for many things that we can provide it to them, but it's to manipulate the parents, and we don't want to go there. We promise
Mm.
ourselves that we will never ever take advantage of this sensitive period of time. It's very easy to sell parents stuff they don't need. Trust me, this manipulation, we don't really like it. We prefer to work hard and sell you what you need, and not to be in the area that you buy something and then you abandon it, whatever.
Yeah.
So what many people ask me, listen, I would like to know how much my baby cry, but I would like to see it comparison to other kids, because I would like to know what is going on in my house. So
Mm.
we thought of it and we said, no, we won't provide it to you because you cannot do anything about this, because it's about the personality of your baby and it is what it is.
You don't wanna see the average is 42% and you're
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not be helpful. All we want to do is to provide you reports that you can do something about them. For instance, if the air pollution around your baby was not okay today, since you've been in the wrong mall, next day don't go over there. If you didn't talk enough to your baby today, because we told you that this day you talk to your baby 10,000 words and the average is supposed to be 15, in the weekend you will do better because you're going to be busy again tomorrow. If you didn't
Yeah.
play with your baby, spend some time with him. It's very simple, but the gamification needs to kick in. So what we want to do is to create another village. And we would like, and I'm waiting to that day. We are going to announce, okay, guys, this week, the whole week, we are going to have a competition between LA to New York. All moms from New York against all moms from LA. Who sings more to the baby? And to see the charts, comparison of the whole community. It's not you as
Mm.
individual, but the whole community. It will enable the baby experts that already are aware of the application and part of the application to talk to the parents how important it is to sing, how the impact of it, of the vocabulary of the baby, how the impact of that people don't know, but singing to your baby has a tremendous impact. Of the very same toddler 2 years later in the daycare is going to be the singer of the daycare, and everybody's going to be around him because they have confidence because they know what is singing. Not the first time people teach them to sing. Or who is more active with the baby, who read more to the babies, and so on, in order to bring it into attention of the parents. Because
Mm.
although people are aware of it, the life are so tough. We need to go to work, put food on the table. People say, yeah, I know, I need to do that. I'm supposed to do that. But the reality shows that we are too busy. It's easy to say, but it's very hard to implement.
Mm. That's true. And once you start gamifying things, people get very competitive, and then what typically happens in that world is they try to
They're not
cheat.
competitive against others. They are committed to the community they live in, and they start to talk with each other, and you create a community. In our baby experts list, there is one category I really like: expert moms. For instance, your wife had 4 kids. Trust me, she
Mm.
knows a lot from her experience,
Oh, yeah.
that the moment she will share it with other people in the app and tell them, oh, Martha, so nice, but listen, I went that egg as well. Don't worry, I've been there. Sometimes they don't need to hear expert. They need someone who been there, done that, that will put them in proportions. And this is our way to create communities, because I do believe it's important, and AI cannot do it for you, right?
Right. Yeah. There are limitations, definitely for sure. Hey, real quick before we wrap up, we're getting up on an hour, and I want to be wise with your time because it's important.
Thank you.
Um, how did you guys come to a place on pricing where you're at? I've seen like on your website one price, and I always try to say, hey, is this thing on Amazon? On Amazon, I see a different price.
Yeah.
How do you guys know you're at the right place? And
Well,
is there any
I have to
additional
tell you
kind of
something.
things?
I have to tell you something. So
Oh, sure.
the product price, the official product price is 350, and we sell it in 299, 298 right now.
Yeah.
During the Black Friday, we reduced the price to in 50% to yeah,
Like,
because when you penetrate the market, you need to be very aggressive.
yeah, like a loss leader, right? You need to get it out there.
Only recently we started selling it on Amazon, and on Amazon, let's say it that way, you are not allowed to make mistakes. You have to be very, very careful and very professional. So what we want to do in Amazon, it's step by step to grow our presence in
Mm,
terms of advertisement, in terms of prices. So what we have done in Amazon, we kept the old price. So there, yeah, as a client right now, it's much better to purchase it on Amazon.
mm,
But the moment we will establish everything on Amazon, the prices are going to be exactly the same. But
sure.
from our experience, from our background in e-commerce, you will never ever put higher price on Amazon. So in Amazon, right now the price is lower, but at the end of the day, the price is going to be 300. In the future, because we need to raise money in order to have a very assertive, aggressive penetration, we would like to make parents to pay $60, $70, and pay for the monthly use of Elora. I will tell you why. It's much more cheaper to pay $10 a month especially I listed what is guiding us. There are 25% of the kids in the US lives in single mom's houses. She needs this product more than anybody else. And we always, I'm telling you the truth, I don't sleep at nights. I'm all keep asking myself, how can we do that? Because it's easy to say it, but in terms of cash flow, it's impossible to do it right now because we are a very young company. So in the next fundraising, all we want to do is to tell you, pay $50, $60, $10 a month. The lifetime value is going to be exactly the same for us. But for the very first time, it won't be a product that only people with $300 will be able to purchase. And this is one of the most important things we want to do as soon as possible, and not just in the US, right?
So when it comes, so if we're looking at that from a standpoint, now you're offering it at a lower price. Does that lower price cover production?
Yeah.
Okay. So then now we're looking at monthly recurring revenue, which is program revenue for you to develop what you're offering, right?
Yeah. It's so true. I will tell you something. Unlike product company that needs to sell more in order to earn more, okay? We are a little bit different company. At the end of the day, without changing the privacy policy, and we are working with a very transparent way with parents. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the very first product that will map the user experience of babies over $400 billion baby market of product and services. I will explain what I just said. I don't know if you know what is the meaning of manufacturing and developing new baby formula. I have no idea if you ever pay any thought of what is a car seat for a baby. But, okay, there are many manufacturers in this market. How do you purchase this stuff? Your wife, the 20 the new moms. I'm not talking about your wife right now, but
Yeah.
you navigate, or you do whatever you do on Instagram. You see one of the influencers presenting a product and you purchase it, but nobody
You know what
asks.
my wife does? She buys 50 things on Amazon, gets them all to the house, and then returns some of them.
I know, but the idea is to tell you what the baby's like, if what the average baby prefer, and the user experience of babies is something that nobody pay attention to. It's a massive market. So we are aiming 100,000 products in the market, and this big data set will enable us to do two things in the commercial part: to understand what is the user experience of babies, and at the very same time we will impact what the other sentence I'm going to say, it's very sensitive sentence, because you have to become FDA product, and you have to make a clinical trial the way you do clinical trials. But we would like to understand what is the baby development. I will explain. Nowadays, baby development relying on charts from the 70s with 3 variables of height, weight, and the scale size. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing about your baby behavior, sleeping patterns, activity, level of crying, how he is active, not active, in so many other stuff that can be involved in the understanding where is your baby on the journey, in the journey of the development. So we're going to do something in that area and the commercial area, but all of them for the benefits of these helpless babies. And we are not a normal product company. We have a goal, a specific goal: 100,000 products. It's not too complicated to gain.
How far are you guys off of that goal?
I cannot share this information with you yet.
Are you getting close?
No, I wish.
Yeah.
It's very hard, because you need when you are pregnant, as a pregnant woman, as a pregnant parent, you will check so many things. You will access and leave and investigate. You spend a lot of time in the digital market before you purchase something online. Or as you said, you will purchase 100 things and you will send back half of them. So in our case, what we are trying to do, using the baby experts in our app, using an affiliation program that is dedicated to them, because they can earn clients through our app. We are trying to create community of experts that understand the language of our UI language, and to work with them and not just to have massive advertisement and to sell it like another commodity.
Yeah.
We would like to sell this product with the context through these experts, because it's not just a product. We have two missions actually. One, to explain you why it's important to play, sing, dance, uh, and talk to your baby at the very same time to sell you such a product. So they're going to do it much better than us.
I tell you what, there's you mentioned experts,
Mm-hmm.
and experts are a weird thing because everybody says they're an expert, right? And everybody produces some sort of credential, and especially in the world of business, everybody can buy something that calls them an expert, a seal, an award, or whatever. Now all of
True,
a sudden they're
true.
experts. And I wish I could remember the quote off the top of my head, but it's almost like sometimes there's no one more foolish or convinced of their perfection than the experts, right? And it gets both the expert and the people who listen to them in rough places. And I'm not saying that you guys are looking for people that aren't experts. What I'm saying is I think I can speak for me personally. I struggle trusting people that call themselves experts, especially with what I've learned as I've grown as an individual, as a man in this world, is that typically when we get to the point where we call ourselves an expert, we stop. We feel we've arrived
So true.
and we have something to bless the world with. And what happens is everything keeps moving on as we stop, and we live in our expertise, and our expertise as the moments go on dwindles because we're only relying on whatever we think has made us an expert, right? And I tell this to my kids who think they're the best at
So
it,
true.
right? I
So
tell this
in
to
the terms of use, we tell parents, please use experts you trust. And the best expert is the one you will bring into the app, because for
yeah,
them, it's free access. And that expert will never ever be able to sell it to you as a stranger or to me because they don't know us. But each expert has 30, 40, 100 people that trust him
yeah,
or her. So what we do, as you write, because the experts, at the end of the day, if you trust them or not trust them, this is the question. And we prefer that you won't use just people from our list, that all
yeah,
people that already show that present you see over there. I would prefer that you bring your, because it support our marketing penetration, because that expert have other people who trust him or her, and they will bring us more sales. This is one thing we do. The other thing we do is a lot of work in the social media, little
mm,
bit of advertising, PR, talking to you, and it's like the early stages and the foundation for the next round, because scale up is a process that you need to prepare. And I think we are in a very good process right now. We learn a
yeah,
lot, and the next stage, we're already looking for that investment to do it in a high scale, uh, but keep doing mistakes, because all the time we are making mistakes, but smart mistakes, because we learned a lot with the tiny money right now. We learn a lot.
yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. It's fantastic. I mean, I think, like you said, one of the keys is going to be getting these into people's possession, getting them to use the communities that you're creating, the app, and actually apply the ability to monitor the things that aren't a heartbeat and an oxygen
Yeah,
level and those things that happen in the middle of the night, right? And it's a bit of I think a concept. Like I haven't had a chance to tell my wife about it, but I'm going to tell her all about this conversation. She watches every show. She's my biggest fan right now. But like, she's going to be fascinated by this because she'll pick up on some of the skepticism things, but she'll also pick up on the other things like, wow, this could have helped so much if this, if that. All of our kids are over 2 now,
yeah.
but that kind of leads me to what, have you guys put thought into, and you guys have your hands full to get to this 100,000 and do what you
Yeah.
need to do, but have you put thought into what happens after 2?
Well, it's very important thing that we already have in our plan. We need to provide you as the parents over the very same hardware a reason to keep the product after the first 24 months. And if you won't see a value in it, you won't keep it. So
Mm,
one of the things we're about to do is to provide you, and we will offer you to update the software. And we won't track like for instance, tummy time. It's not important, or rocking. In that software, what you're going to see, and this is things we need to develop, but the goal will be to share with you, or to, again, to reflect and show you what is quality time. What is the meaning of quality time? Because quality time is just a term, but if you will see the connection between the book you just read to your baby, the game you play with, to the vocabulary of that baby, and recognizing the color purple. Nobody knows purple without training them on purple. Nobody knows to count beyond 10 or till 10, or to say the number 15 without playing, or experiencing, or doing something about it. And we would like to show guys, it works. In that day this happened, and that day your baby your toddler act like that. This is the thing we want to do, side by side to activity. Activity, it's something very simple to track, because again, it's attached to the baby shirt, and activity level is one of the things that in these ages is very important to keep the babies climb on trees, play outdoor, punch the other friend, and to cry when they were punched, because I'm sorry I'm saying it, many houses you can see, it's very synthetic life. These babies are in the daycares or in the at home, and nothing in between. And it's important to reflect that, to say, guys, the baby needs to be more active. I don't care. You need to go back from the daycare home, walk it, don't drive it. But you need to do something about that. This the main two things. And the air pollution is always important, but these two main things we do believe, we didn't tried it yet. We didn't created the alpha and the beta trial on that, but this is the next stages. Right now we deal in the first 2 years of life.
Very cool. Hey, we made it over an hour. I haven't done an hour show in a while. I've been trying to cut them down, but this is just too good. This is too good of a subject.
Thank you so much,
I love
Ryan.
it.
Thank you so much.
Love what you're doing. Hey, are you in Israel right now?
Oh my goodness. I'm in Israel. On October 7th, the very same day, I had a flight to the US that was canceled because of what had happened here. But I paid more, and I found another flight, and I found myself in the US preparing the lunch. Yes, I'm in Israel right now. Half of the companies in the US, amazing people. And I have to say, anyone in this company, even the AI people, the technical team, the programmers, the graphic people, the social media, PR, all of these people, it's a romantic company. We could do to work in the area of babies. It's a jungle. It's impossible. It's very sensitive. You could take the very same product to work with with old people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been ruminating on ideas that this thing in the business that I'm in.
We made a decision not to do it and to concentrate on these early stages, because with the old people, with the whole respect, although it's a growing market, what would you do? We will impact the next 6 months of their life. We can do the very same thing, but you will impact the next 80 years of life, 60 years of life of that baby. So, yeah, it's not just a business decision. You need to follow your values, and each one of us, anyone who is involved in this company, has a personal story that made them to me and my and my partner. We didn't have time to talk about why we are here and why we are involved in that, but we have very important stuff that we carry since we are young with child that made us to establish this business.
I talk about it all the time with my wife, and I lament and I mean, my kids are fine. They've had great childhoods so far. We do all kinds of crazy fun stuff, but it's nothing like 40 years ago when our parents would kick us outside and don't come home until the streetlights come on. And, we were in just as much danger then as a kid would be now, maybe for different reasons. But crossing the street, there were still vehicles that not paying attention. There's still lightning storms. There's still random things that happen. Man, if my parents only knew what I was climbing over and across and under and through and during all those times. But all those experiences, from whether I was 4 years old till I was 15 or whatever, were important. And I believe firmly that our young ones, they're losing it now. As fun as video games are, it's not the same. And I think what you guys are doing from 0 to 2 and hopefully beyond with all your success that, I pray happens. that you guys can make a dent in it and help things.
Thank you so much for your supportive attitude. It's a very long journey, and
Oh, yeah.
I would love to reconnect in the future and share with you more insights and understanding of this very interesting market. The secret world of babies is a fascinating world.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see that. Hey, Ami, thank you so much for your time. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for being on the Business Line podcast today. Can't wait to see all your guys' success here in the future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.